Welcome to the Quick 10 podcast, brought to you by Trac, focusing on all things FedCon and cyber defense from different perspectives and different personalities, all in 10-ish minutes. Here's your host, Derek White.
All right, welcome back to another blazing episode of the Quick 10 podcast with one of my good friends in the industry here, Carter Schoenberg from SoundWay Consulting. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me back. It's been a little while.
It has.
Been a
We're
minute.
just catching up. One of the guests from last year's CUI-Con 2025. This year we're 2026, and we are in Orlando instead of Tampa, but the weather is the same. It's nice out. It's warm. We like it. The energy of the conference is really well attended, which is great. Some new faces and new logos here for people that are jumping into the ecosystem to help out. And as we know from 12 months ago, so this would be, let's just say February to February, things are a little different. But before you get into that, I would like you to talk about SoundWay and yourself, because people watching and listening might not have seen the last episode.
Sure. So SoundWay Consulting, we're a technology management consulting firm. We provide consultative services. We have a managed offering where, great news, 3 of our very first clients have now achieved level 2 formal certification.
Nice.
And then we are also a certifying body as the C3PAO. I have been in cyber now for 26 years. Came into it from a background in law enforcement and have been leading SoundWay's corporate composition on CMMC services, and was also responsible for leading our team to become an authorized C3PAO. So I've been with the company now for just a little over 5 years.
And the world is different than it was 5 years ago.
Very much so.
So we're putting our Olympic team golf trials on hold while we have this interview. So Carter and I got to play golf last spring, and it was great.
Fantastic course in Vegas, absolutely.
Yes, it was. And hopefully we can do that again here coming up. What has changed from 12 months, which we've had a couple guests on that were on last year. We're going to be here for a couple more days. That was a fast 12 months. Sometimes it felt like it was a long 12 months, but it's been a fast 12 months.
Yep.
From SoundWay's perspective, from your perspective, where are you seeing things now versus where they were?
So, great question. So, what I can share for the audience with regards to context is before 32 CFR was codified, we would probably have a call, email, something along those lines, maybe literally once a month. I mean, it was just very, very sparse. Once 32 CFR came into play, then it came to about basically one a week. And then once 48 CFR got codified, we're basically now tracking it about an inbound one a day kind of thing. So we're definitely seeing an uptick. There is a reckoning with regards to level setting expectations. You've had a lot of organizations, government contractors, that were fourth and long, hoping for a Hail Mary by Doug Flutie that Trump was going to say no to CMMC. Didn't come to fruition. And as a result, now everybody's kind of clamoring for getting on somebody's schedule. Lest we forget, they haven't really started yet, but they think they can get it done in about 60 to 75 calendar days.
Mm-hmm.
So...
and they still call it CMCM, so it's a good start. Yeah.
or my favorite still is, I'm already CMMI certified.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about CMMC.
Yep.
Not the same thing,
those
but
are good.
Okay. But yeah, so we have been really fortunate with regards to the clients that we have helped. I've been involved in probably about a dozen assessments between us being certified, recertified this year by DIPCAC, us being certified by C3PO for our external services offering at level 2, plus all the outbound ones that I've participated in. The experiences of seeing the wide array of experience, skills, aptitude, and acumen on how the assessors conduct themselves has been interesting. I've been on engagements where I've seen assessors that definitely have an area to improve on understanding technical advancements, cloud first infrastructure, things along those lines. And I've also have been on engagements where I've seen assessors have such a narrow, myopic view of the control definition that general common sense is not raising to the top, kind of thing. And I do think that that is going to be a challenge. Everybody always understood that the whole CMMC program was going to be a maturation process. We're going to skin, we're going to scratch our knees a couple of times here and there by falling down, but hopefully prudence will dictate that we were applying lessons learned, can continue to advance to serve the government contracting community. There's the original numbers for organizations that were going to have to be certified at level 2 jumped significantly by about 50%. The number of companies that are going to have to be certified at level 3, I am still very much of the opinion, and I will go on record right now, that the government's expectations on those numbers is very low. And that is going to cause some definite consternation for organizations that are going to want to go after, let's say, a Golden Dome project or something else in that capacity. But
you don't make the rules.
that's right.
Not yet.
I do not make the rules. I saw that in 2025 on the Civil Cyber Fraud Initiative, which is under the Department of Justice, that about $52 million was recovered in settlements against only 9 companies. So that's pretty steep numbers. And for context, I don't think any of them ever saw the light of day in a courtroom. They were all settled.
It's easier that
before,
way.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
But yeah.
And we've been very fortunate for like our team members, the use of the 1099s, that we have gone through a pretty sizable vetting process to make sure that they're going to be in alignment with our cultural values on how we want to do assessments. And some pretty big news. Maybe even by the time that this is published, we will have new owners.
Oh.
So
Well, we can time this to happen right after.
Yeah.
Spoil it. I was kidding. No.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
We're being acquired. Foci has already come through. Thanks to the AB for helping the buying side on that. All great news for myself and my team. It's going to be much deeper pockets, much broader portfolio, and being able to dramatically amp up our capabilities. That just from a financial perspective just wasn't really feasible for being a micro-size business at this point.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And awesome. The buyer has also supported an idea where we will be creating a conference circuit. That conference circuit will be designed to focus on geographical territories that to date have yet to be a focus point. And we just want to be able to provide alternatives to industry and to the government contracting community outside of the West Coast, National Capital Region. Important areas to be sure, but the Midwest, Northeast, Southwest, stuff like that, sometimes these are becoming overlooked, and it doesn't change the fact that regardless of what's being touted on how great the economy is, depending on how you're looking at the numbers, a lot of companies are starting to clamp down on how much travel that they're going to let their employees participate in. So if we can have the mountain come to Muhammad, then that's the approach that we want to be able to leverage, and we're really excited to already have some speakers lined up that will include attorneys that are heavily involved in false claims acts. We don't have it firm yet, but we also feel that we'll probably even be able to have some of the attorneys representing Department of Justice in these capacities speaking at the event as well.
So CarterCon, Hawaii, what year?
It's not going to be called CarterCon, but we are going to call it the CPARS Tour.
Ooh, already named. Okay, look at that. All right, well, don't come to Minneapolis in January.
I may not have a choice.
Attendance will be low.
I may not have a choice because the buying side actually has an office in Minneapolis.
Oh, good. Then do it in July, and I'll be there if you'll have me. No, that's great. No, that's actually one of the conversations I was having this morning when I first got here was There's been some pop-up kind of regional conferences that are some CMMC, but also just in areas where it's not the big cities that it's normally hosted at, and it can be more intimate, and it does. There's a regional feel to all of this. If you're a small to medium-sized business, whether you use an MSP or not, some people aren't even big enough to have one of those. They don't want to be working with somebody in Florida if they're in Detroit. They don't want to be working with somebody in Atlanta if they're in San Diego. Service hours, and whose neck do I kind of try to reach for if something does go wrong? So that's a great way to do it. And
it's interesting that you just provided that scenario, because one of the core concepts for our managed offering is, regardless of where the client is located in the lower 48, we're at the client site quarterly, full stop. Yeah. And our goal is now having these resources to grow the team where our support staff will never be more than 150 miles radius for many of the clients that we support, for that very fact, because if you have an issue, I want our clients to feel comfortable enough saying, hey, you know what, I just have an issue, can we go meet for a cup of coffee and talk this through, versus the pains of going through a call center or something else along those lines.
Yeah, I mean, we have a similar approach with the advisory side that the Cuick Trac solution can't do for customers. Is we don't need someone in San Diego working with somebody from New York. Yep. So if we have authorized partners around the country, they have to know our product, they have to know the requirements. We don't just pull people out of school or off the street, and it's the same thing within maybe a 2-state radius. If we have a customer there that needs this work, you can deliver the same stuff we're going to, and we don't have to be in multiple places at once. That's the way this is going to get anywhere. It's just like the C3PAOs, right? We had individual on earlier. They have a pool of CCAs. They don't all have to work W-2 full-time for them and just hoard that pool. They share the resources out so that we can do more.
I'm going to be curious to see how sustainable that model is, though, in the coming year.
For now, it kind of, I'm with you.
For now, yeah, exactly. So the concern that I have, which I think has merit, is at a certain point, how will a C3PAO that is almost exclusively dependent on 1099s be able to guarantee the delivery of their formal assessments? Because I can completely envision, okay, so we want to do this on April 1st. Okay, we can start on April 1st. Give me 1 second, let me check. Okay, my 1099s appear to be available, and I issue a contract with you. So I'm committing to that. And then I contact my 1099s and like, well, let's talk about that. Well, what is there to talk about? Well, you're agreeing to pay me X, and your competitors are agreeing to pay me Y, and they also have work for me to do that week.
Yeah.
Again,
the market's going to have to stabilize. It's going to have to stabilize at some point, for sure. But for now, it's and I think part of it too is there's this rush to get a third party.
Yep.
When there's people telling organizations they need to that aren't authorized to tell them that. It's just we want you to have it, and the pushback is scary, right? You can't just say, we don't have to. It says right here we don't have to. Show me where it says we have to. And so there's 100%. The conversation we're going to be having in 12 months from now is, remember when we were talking about the scalability of this thing, as more C3POs join, more CCAs and lead CCAs go through not just their training, but their experiences on the assessments to be able to move up a level, is obviously way different than it was 12 months ago.
So, and to that point with regards to the training, because now ISACA has taken over KICO, and they have continuing professional educational requirements that are now going to be imposed, which I'm not opposed to. I have a CISSP, so by default I'm required to do that anyway. But it will be interesting to see how, if at all, that has any kind of consequence on the talent pool. One of the things that I found interesting, it's not good, it's not bad, it's just an interesting observation, was how many people I knew that were in the ecosystem that were certified assessors, and then 32 CFR came out, and then all of a sudden, hey, look at me, I have my CISSP, or I have my CISM. I just probably would have made the assumption that they already had these bona fides before becoming the assessor, but that wasn't the case because they were being forced to, because the obligation is they have these additional professional certifications in addition to being a CCA.
That is definitely going to be an interesting rollout and transition.
Yeah.
Probably a topic of discussion next time to see how that's going. But yes, no, that's I'm with you, and it's. Yeah, this is why these conferences are great.
Yeah.
Because we get to see that as lessons learned's been a big thing already with the handful of these that we've done, is that no matter what level, what position, what role you play in this, there has been lessons to be learned. Things are going to go wrong, bad things are going to happen. It's really starting to equal out. I shouldn't say equal out, but we're starting to see that these assessments are paying off in more ways than just assessing and certifying an OSC. It's the providers, it's the people help prep, it's mock assessment value. And I probably should have listened to what Carter said on that podcast a year ago about my scope and everything, because now I'm paying for it. That kind of stuff is coming true, and hopefully that just continues to better itself, I think, over the next 6-12 months.
And especially as we start to see, let's say, non-traditional organizations, specifically institutions of higher education, colleges and universities, coming to the table looking for these formal certifications, where actually SoundWay has performed one, and we were very fortunate to also have done a mock for them, which I am a very big proponent of. If you are going to pay for a mock assessment, have those be the same people that are doing your formal assessment.
Right.
Because there's just still, at this point, and again, no paradigm is going to be perfect, and we just have to understand that, again, CMMC is going to be a crawl, walk, run, and frankly, we're just barely standing up at this point.
Yeah, right.
But because of the fact that if you have a particular control and you were to ask any 10 assessors, how do you interpret that, what that to mean, it's probably not going to be the exact same. So if you're going to pay for a mock, you're probably going to be better off also just using the exact same team, because you're going to have a higher level of assurance that whatever they've told you, the basis for why it's not met, whether it's not adequate, it's not sufficient, or a combination thereof. If you've been able to course correct that, then you as the OSC have a higher level of confidence that you're not going to get the rug yanked out from underneath your feet.
Right.
So.
That's true. That's well said. All right, well, thank you again for stepping aside as I pulled your arm over here. Where do people go to connect with you and SoundWay if they want to learn more?
Sure. So it's SoundWayConsulting.com. I'm on LinkedIn, featured in a lot of different places there. And you will also be able to see me at the upcoming normal security conferences. And a special thanks to Matt and to Fernando for putting this particular event together. As always, like I said, lessons learned, it continues to grow in volume for the number of people that are participating in it, and just a fantastic experience. So thank you for having me on, and thank you to them for hosting this event.
No problem. We'll have you on again, and thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode, and make sure to subscribe to the Cuick 10 podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and check us out on YouTube as well. For more information about Trac, visit our website at www.cuicktrac.com. That's CUICKTRAC.com.